Let's go.
No.
Let me go over here to StreamYard. I will be there. Hey, Glenn, how are you?
I'm gonna turn my video off. I'm dining right now.
That's good for you. I wish I would be there. So let's rock and roll. We're live, right? We are live, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our Thursday scaling call and talking relevant stuff about land. And guys, it's first of all the last time that I will be alone. For the rest of the year, we have amazing speakers. Next week on Thursday, here I will get joined on the stage by Horizon Trust. Greg Heelan will be here, like the CEO of Horizon Trust. He will talk with us. How can you really work with your own money that's like in your IRAs, 401k accounts, etc.? How can you move there in self-directed IRAs? How can you work with lenders through the same thing that you have money for your deals, right? He will be here. After the week after that, we will have Tony Dixon. He is an expert in he's a CPA, a licensed CPA. He runs a 50 people CPA firm. He's a absolute specialist in asset protection, all that. I think the week after that, we have John Jasniak, the master of subdivides. With Clayton Hepler in November. Like there's so much great people coming here. So if you want to be here in the next couple of Thursdays. And we opened the second cohort for the land autopilot too. So we have the first 8 investors up and running, and they're producing leads, they're writing contracts. It's just a blast seeing them grow and getting better every day, and seeing how they really build a land investing business that they ever wanted, with all the struggles that means. With Jeannie on the call, she's one of the autopilots, and what we realized, it's not so much about the job itself. Often it's about yourself, right? This is what we realize in this. So um, yeah, absolutely amazing to see that group like growing together and working together and doing great things. So yeah, I'm glad to be on your side and partner with you on this. So that's pretty cool. So if you want to really run your business and get like a bunch of stuff managed for you, like from A to Z, like the acquisitions, the disposition, the market selection, the data, like the comps, when you want all of that, you don't want to do that in your business, and you want my team to do it for you, and you just want to have seller conversations, sign up for a call with me. This is what the Land Autopilot is about. And for today, um, you know, and Jean will just be like pretty bored because she hangs all day in this, right? Um, it's we're gonna talk about like two things, right? How can you close more sellers and beating the realtor game in 2025, right? And today is really about mastering acquisitions, getting more contracts signed faster at better prices with better strategies. Because, like the game has changed in the past couple of years. It's no longer that what it has been, right? And I was on a call with one of our autopilots before this, and we were talking about that too. It's like no longer anymore the snail mail double close game that you were probably taught in one of those courses. No, like we're living in 2025, life is faster, technology evolves faster, you need to be faster. And I really want to show you one of these amazing instruments we're using internally, and we give that for you for free in the Land Pilot portal, and that's our deal calculator. I really want to work with you through that today. How can you use that to really evolve like your sales? How you can use that for your teams? How can you use that for yourself to always be really confident about your pricing, right? And to get it run. Because the real battlefield right now, it's not marketing, it's sales, right? Everyone focuses on lead gen, but the true leverage in the whole game is closing. It's not like how many leads do I have, it's how many leads do I convert in contracts, right? How many leads do I bring there that they accept an offer from me? And 2025, it's really about this precision and not the volume that we do. Because everybody's playing a huge volume game and trying to do one thing. Like when I talk with line masters, a lot of them do like, hey, yeah, I do double closings mostly. Okay, great. What is when the double closing not works? Yeah, then you need more leads. But when you have like really a bouquet of exit strategies for yourselves, you would just close more deals, right? Because in the end, it's about mastering sell-up psychology and wing your data, like being confident with the data you have about the property to really make offers that rock, if that makes sense. And I see a lot of people struggling with that, right? Like the most common thing is like I was on a couple of conferences in the past couple of weeks, like when I talk to other land wholesalers, one of the most common things is that they say, oh, you know what? Like I'm sometimes not so confident about my pricing. Okay, great. Then you need to change that. And you need to get better at pricing or get a better process or get a better whatever, right? Um, because in the very, very, very end, it's the pricing that matters if you make money or not. When you get a deal for the right price on the contract and have the right deal strategy in place, this is that what brings you really there to make money in this business or not. And a lot of people don't do that. They make offers based on a gut feeling, if that makes sense, right? So they just, oh, let me just offer him $10,000 more. But $10,000 more can, when you have a $30,000 profit and you offer $10,000 more, suddenly you just have $20,000 profit, which is still a lot of money. But when you look like at the numbers relatively, it's a 33% profit decrease. You make 33% less profit. And you could have avoided that, right? And what sellers actually want here is, and like I hear that a lot, people want retail market value, people want really that, but we still see a lot of people crushing it, and this is for one reason. What sellers really want in 2025 is certainty, clarity, and speed. They have probably at this point been in touch with somebody, right? Like they have been contacted by a land flipper. I mean, people, we are all working the same data. I think there's 20 or 22 million land parcels in the US. I don't know how many thousand land flippers. The numbers I hear are between 10 and 100,000 is what I've heard, right? Like, but let's say it's like 10,000 people, right? That's like for each person 20,000 records out there, right? Like in a year, that's like 2,000 records a month you pull that we touch every single parcel one time. And now we don't touch every single parcel. Everybody hits certain markets. So the likability with the competition we have today is that there is a lot of competition that already touched the lead where you need to shine. And you can do that pretty easily. Because a lot of times sellers have been under contract with somebody. A lot of times they feel they got scammed, and we have a lot of new people in this industry too that don't know how to move with certainty, clarity, and speed. They don't know how to do that, right? So, and what they lost at that point, the sellers, is the trust in the process and the trust in the what you're working with an investor. And this is where you need to be really on top of the game, right? So it's like this emotional triangle you need to control, which is like trust, control, and clarity, right? Like these three things. And you need to lead with clarity in your conversations, and you need to be firm on that, right? We had a huge discussion today, like this morning in our comms call around like an entitlement lot, where seller told like one of our partners and said like, I want $40,000 a lot, and there's 200 lots you can create in that and all of that. Yeah, you can do that. And we developed together like a one-on-one like instruction how to maneuver the next call, right? To tell him, hey, listen, you can do all of that, but it doesn't make sense because the market data is this, the da, 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 da. So the only thing we can do is offer you on what it is worth today, right? So it's like really the more clear and the more certain you are of what you talk about, right? The more traction you will really get with sellers in this market, because suddenly, you will be seen as this expert that you are, right? And it starts with simple things. I listened to an episode this morning By the way, one of my favorite land podcasts is The Ground Game with Clay Hadler and Justin Pichet, both friends of mine. I really love them. We will have both of them on the podcast in the next 2, 3 months. They run really like amazing organizations with 20 plus employees and do an insane amount of deals. Um, and they were talking one of these episodes around like um, credibility. How do you build credibility with the seller? Because like I think Gene, you like Gene is here in Zoom. Join us in Zoom when you're there. But Gene is uh, faced that issue in the past couple of days that people wanted to see her phone number and like her website and all of this. And it's really in these days, like you need to from day one, from minute one where you receive a seller lead, build this trust with them. And the most important thing by building trust is being reliable. When you say you do something, do it. When you say you call them in 15 minutes, call them in 15 minutes. When you say you're going to call them back tomorrow at 4, call them tomorrow at 4, not at 4:05, at 4, German 4, right? Like that's a German in me. Just don't call them at 4:05, call them at 4. So, what I mean by that is you need to really be on top of your conversations, right? To and have this clarity by with everything you do, right? That they never have the feeling, oh, somebody wants to screw me over, and you will get through more of this legitimacy issues, right? Like it's also about like showing your company to the outside. How does my website look like? Do I have a Google business profile? Like stuff like that. People need to, when they Google you, they need to see you because otherwise they will think, oh, there's a lot of deed fraud going on, there's a lot of land fraud going on, and all that. That's one of these people. No, but when you show up, when you lead with certainty and clarity, that's what it is. And one of the tools we use internally here, and this is what I want to show you, is our deal sheet. And let me just like pull you up here and make that a little bit bigger here. And I'm going to do the same over here. Wait, let me just do that. Just give me 1 second, guys, here. Share my screen. Share this window. And who has been on our comms calls and has seen some of those will know this sheet. So the only thing I want to do here is this. Just 1 second. Okay, great. Good. So how is this comp sheet structured and why is it so strong for you, right? Um, First of all, you have two sides. Here's the buy side and the sell side, right? Probably that's German English, but that's what it is. And when you have something like here, and I would highly recommend if you don't have something like that, just go to portal.thelandpilot.com, sign up. It's in the resources section. You can have that for free. I just give that to you. There's like many years of experience in this whole sheet. But what it gives you is on the left side here, the whole buy price, right? So you research all the hard things you need to do for an evaluation. You can run your comps here. Yeah, we always try to run 3 to 4 sold comps and 3 to 4 for sale comps just to build a pricing scenario. What do we see happening in that area? And if you know how to comp, I will not get into that today. But if you want to learn how to come to our comps calls, it's included in Lentil Partner Pro. It's 99 bucks a month. It's a steal. You will just for sure learn a lot, right? Gene is always on there. Glenn is there. I think you have learned a lot around that. There you can say, right? Like in Harald too. So that's really what it is. But what you can take from here, what this sheet does is, like, hey, the evaluation of this property is 192,000. The wholesale price is this, right? So that means now we go here on the right side. When my team prepares the sheet in the comp service for you, it will be structured like this. When you do it by yourself, I show you how to structure that. You have 3 prices here on the sheet, right? Or in total, 4 price points here on the sheet. With a low cash offer, a minimum offer, a higher offer, an installment purchase option, and a double close purchase price. This is what you can pay. And in your sales conversations, where I lead with is this number down here, and I make that a little bigger, right? Like that you can all see that this number down here is the number we want to talk about, right? And like let me just like make that here a little bigger for you guys, right? It's this number here we want to talk about. That's net profit, because this is the only number that really, really counts, right? Why is it the only number that really counts? It doesn't matter like how much, let me just see. Um, just give me 1 second. I will be, sorry, that was the confirmation I was waiting for. Why is net profit the most important number? Because this is what you'll make in the end. That what's end up in your pocket. No revenue number. Glenn is a business owner. He knows that. The only number that matters to you is what ends up in your pocket. It's not how much revenue do you create, how much gross revenue do you make, like how much, like it's just what ends up when everything is paid on this transaction, right? So, and at least you want to make some money, right? So for you, it's like, hey, when you use this sheet, you have two price points. And like when I talk with my people, like this is what we do every day. With a low price, this is what we lead with. So when we open the conversation, we say like, hey, Mr. Seller, investors in the area are paying $82,000 to $120,000. Then we listen to the reaction, right? And then we explain it to them. When you and me want to close in 30 days, and that's like the first thing you want to lead with. When you and me want to close in 30 days, and I pay cash for that property in 30 days, I can offer you $85,000. We can be really quick. I take on a lot of risk because I can't do a deep due diligence. I can't do a deep plan of what we're doing with the property. So I take on a lot of risk. It would be $85,000. If you need money fast, this is what I can do. And probably that's the fastest thing you can get in the market right now. Oh, I had other offers. Yeah, great. But like 85 is that what I can do? Okay, they don't like it. Then you go and say, you know what? What we can do is, would you give me like maybe 30 days more time? So 30 days due diligence and the 30 days closing phase, I can give you $111,000, right? So because what it is, like here's $49,000 in profit that we would make, right? So and then you go from there, right? So now you offered him already two things, and we don't go too much in the wordings today. We did that last week, I think, or the week before. So watch out that video. But then from there you can say, hey, listen, if all of this doesn't work out, you just switch the script here, go to seller owner financing, and we see here it's $50,000 in net profit. Wait, let me do this here like a little bit here. Hey, if the 111 don't work out in 45 days closing, hey, would you be, because what you see it's 49,000. When we would have a hard money lender and would have all this funding costs and closing costs, that would mean when you owner finance me the deal, I can offer you $122,000 up to, right? So that's $11,000 more. Plus, over the course of the year, you will make around another $10,000 in additional interest. So you give me 12 months of time, I give you a down payment, you become the bank. That gives me time to figure it out. Would you be open to that? We'll give you a total of 130,000, right? Suddenly, and we see here the puzzle is worth 190,000. Suddenly you offer him $45,000 more than the competition probably, right? And if he says, oh no, that's too long. Hey, would you give me, right? Um, would you give me 6 months of time to see what we do with the property? I can resell it, I can develop it, I can do whatever I want, and I can give you 125,000. So now you shorten the time frame if they don't like it, right? But all of this, what you can do with this sheet here is you have your pricing set. You can give your acquisition manager, your sales team, your however you call those team, you can give them strict boundaries, right? What it is, right? Because you have everything here on one sheet. And I'm gonna make a new video, put it in the portal to how exactly you can use this sheet to do that. But what it gives you is a lot of clarity and confidence in the call, because when he says, oh, you know, I don't want to do 111. I want to close in 60 days, but I don't want to take $111,000, right? I need 125. You can look here if 125,000 makes sense for you when you close in 60 days, because suddenly you make $34,000 in profit. Your loan to value with closing and funding costs is probably 75%. Your loan to value for the purchase is 65%. You can make here the decision if it's worth it or not. You can protect your risk and your bottom line, if that makes sense, right? So, and even when you start this conversation here with your lowest offer of 85,000, and he says, I'm good with 100,000, you can still always make the decision based on net profit, right? If that still makes sense for you or not. And this is like what's really important, that when you have this second call, that you have like an instrument like this sheet where you have like your different exit prices that you can just read them, right? And just say, yeah, I can do that. Oh, let me calculate that real quick. Like, because when you do it here, he counters you with 100 or 115, and you can come back to him and say immediately, and he hears you typing on the phone probably. It's like, no, I can do that. That doesn't work out for me, but maybe I can do 105 or 110 or whatever. But what you always will have is you will know what you'll make probably on the deal, because you have all the costs here on one overview. That gives you a lot of certainty, right? And in the end, you really want to have this conversation with people that are really motivated, right? Like, don't have that conversation with people that just like want to screw you over anyway, right? It's always like opening this up, blaming it on others. Hey, investors in the area are paying this to this, and then you have a starting point where this goes, right? Because they will ask, yeah, of course I want 130,000. Okay, let me walk you through the different options, because the faster we close, the less I can give you, the more risk I take on. And here you have the risk one-on-one on the sheet, if that makes sense. So this is how you really take the emotion from you out and don't let yourself be led by emotions, because sometimes we do a deal to make a deal. We like that person, we want to give them a little more, little more, little more, little more, but suddenly the little more we go up doesn't make the deal profitable anymore for us. And this sheet is a good instrument, or having something like this, that you have all your numbers on one sheet, right? And just incorporate that in your process, right? Like, oh, people are working with that daily. And like later on, there's different other things like underwriting and strategy. You can organize your realtors and like make better decisions, have a full due diligence, and make a full profit conversation, can have your closing and all of that on here. So really use this sheet, because it gives you a lot of confidence in the closing situation. And it's also like, it lets you shine like really, really pretty much legit, if that makes sense, right? Um, and in the end, how you present that, I call this always this offer triangle, right? It's confidence, transparency, and control, right? So what you always want to do is you give this values with perceived evidence. Hey, we ran all the numbers. This is what investors are paying. This is like the four options we have, right? And then you bridge that. This is the transparency with logic. Okay, like, look, I take all the risk on. I close faster than the market would ever close with you when you give that to a realtor, and so on. And in the end, right, you give all the control, because you make this offer feeling like really fair on the other side, if that makes sense, right? So, and then the second thing is, it's like, what's really important is, we talked about it, like this micro trust moments, right? Like, I wrote that down, and I just want to bring that up again. Like, say what you do and do what you say. When you say you do it tomorrow, do it tomorrow. Call them tomorrow, even if you don't have the offer ready yet, or if there's something unclear or whatever. Still call them, say, hey, I was looking at the parcel. There's a couple of things we want to confirm first, but hey, I'm on it, right? That's better than not doing anything because the shit is not ready, right? Because you're like in acquisitions, the owner of the relationship with the seller that's ultimately therefore that you get in the end a product that you can sell that makes you money, if that makes sense. And what comes with this is, and I talked about this like a lot this morning in the call, what comes with that is that we see right now that realtors are messing up our market, right? Probably everybody knows this Zillow listings where a 3-acre parcel is listed suddenly for $3 million. And the only thing you see on that advertising is a screenshot of a plat map from the county.
I think that's intentional.
Huh?
There's so many of people doing what we're doing. You think that's intentional to upset things?
That they do that? I think realtors, I mean, there's a lot of really good land realtors, but the majority is not.
Yeah.
And like how the traditional resale market work, and this is what you will encounter with sellers too. My realtor said, my question is always, how much land did your realtor sell in the last 2 years or in the last year? Does he know how land is evaluated? Like, because, and this is how I explain it to them is realtors are mostly drilled to sell houses for one particular reason. A realtor makes a commission, right? Where does he make more commission on a $500,000 house, which is probably in most of the cities in America like a pretty accurate price on a house, even if it's a $300,000 house, or on a $50,000 land property? Oh yeah, he makes the house. Okay, cool. Now comes the second thing, Mr. Seller, right? And this is how you can strangle them alone, right? This realtor objection, right? How does a realtor comp a house? Oh, he puts a pin on the map, puts a circle, pulls the comps, and compares apples with apples. Great. So he compares a 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,700 square feet with a 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, 2,700 square feet in the same subdivision, right? Or in the same area. So everybody that's on the comps call is here. When we do the same thing in land, right? Like there's a lot of data points on a house, right? Like on a house is clear. How many bathrooms? Does it have a pool? Does it have AC? Does it have a driveway? When was the last rehab? Like there's a lot of data points. A house has 209 data points you can ask for. Land has publicly available 7. This is what we do in the comms calls, right? Like in the comms calls, we talk about like, hey, we need to look at pictures, listing text, and so on. Realtors don't do that. They put a pin. The normal realtor, they put a pin, they put a radius until they have enough comps and say this is what it's worth. So what they do is they compare commercial lots with timber lots, with residential lots, with agricultural lots, with waterfront lots, and all that. And suddenly this gives this inflation of numbers, right? And what it is that the sellers have unrealistic expectations and their prices are anchored too high, and that sort of leads to a market distortion, right? So, and that hurts us as investors pretty much because the sellers is emotionally anchored also by listing websites where all this stuff shows up, right? With some fantasy numbers, right? And what realtors do is they leave it listed there. A listing agreement is for 6-12 months, and most of the time they don't do anything with it. They just leave it there sitting, just waiting. Because I don't really care for this $80,000, $120,000 piece of shit here, right? Like this is how they probably think. Because hey, I have like 3 houses to sell right now. They make me more commission than this thing, even if you pay 10% in commission. They don't know how to move that, right? So, and this is like what it does. Like one bad comp can inflate 5 more other listings. because this is like this spiral which happens. Like one realtor starts listing too high, all the other ones follow his comp because it's in the comp jungle, and then this five start listing too high too, right? And the other five are listing too high too. So um, what what you really need to do in your conversation with the seller is don't fight the realtor, educate the seller with your data. Hey, it's true that stuff is listed for that. But when you look at really what has been sold, stuff is selling for this, right? Um, Realtors really price to get listings. This is how the psychology works too, right? Like a realtor tells you, hey, Gene, of course, like your property is worth $500,000 to get the listing too, because their brokerages want them to get listing. They want to have that just to have it, right? And what we do is we price properties to get them sold or developed and then sold, right? And the numbers that we present them is actually on that what is the closed value and not that what's sitting in the market for the next 800 days, right? Does that make sense? And when you're in the comps call, we see that all the time, right? Like that the market on market data is most of the times pretty much dominated by much higher listings than what is sold. Be pretty much aware of that market where it's the other way around, because that markets are dead, right? And you have really good land realtors in that areas where that matches up. There's probably a couple of realtors that dominate the market in land listings. That is what we see too, right? And you can use the sheet too when you have your comps run well. You have them on your sheet when you talk to a seller, right? We always find there's one or two comps that are much lower than everything else, and then you can pull it out and say, like, look, it was like 123 Main Street. It was 40 acres right next door, like 2 miles down the road. Same thing. It had trees on it. It was undeveloped, nothing on it. Sold for $35,000, right? Find that data too and confront the seller with that. Say, like, look, yeah, listen, there's this and this, but like there's also this. This is what you see for sale, but this is what actually sold, right? And what it really does is that it really hurts what the realtors are doing there with these bad listings is they hurt the reputation of the land investor because we come in with lower offers. What we really solve is timeline. Does that make sense? We solve timeline and that it gets moved. This is what we make it happen much faster than probably most of the realtors could, right? And when you do that, when you use the deal sheet, right, and have comps, the lowest comps you find there that have been sold in an area, when you use that, you can suddenly beat your seller by data. Does that make sense? And go around it. Oh, my realtor said, okay, yeah, tell me more about your realtor. Great. Great dude. I like him for sure. But how did he run the comps? How did he look at the market? Did he look at actually what was for sale or did he look what has really been sold? Okay, did he see this? Did he see that listing? Did he see that listing? And suddenly what you're a professional in the eye of the seller. Does that make sense? And when we all use this spreadsheet, right, and would all do that job, we would have much more educated sellers and would shine much better, right? So let me tie that all together because I need to close that out like early today, because we have a fund webinar at 6. Um, Realtors overprice and investors who run with real comps will win the game, right? So when you have this deal sheet, it's your foundation. You have all your comps on there, right? Probably what I would check is, and maybe we should make a field for that. I will put that in the next iteration on that sheet. What are the two lowest available sold comps? You want to have them on the sheet, right? Um, but you have all this data then accessible and you make just like better offers because you have all your numbers lined up for 4 different exit strategies. You know your low offer, you know your highest offer, you know a seller financing offer, you know your double close price. So now it's just like really matching that up with the seller. And that's like no longer a data thing. That's like a emotional intelligence that wins here, right? So when you do all of this together, I think you and are in the closing call and you have a lot of like um objection handling done with that, right? Because you can use data as evidence to prove them wrong, right? Or another person wrong without saying them you're wrong, right? Because it's just like, hey, look, you and me both think probably that, but this is what the market really is. I thought that too, Mr. Seller, but like then I really looked at that, what has been sold, and this is the reality, right? You and me agree on this. When you move the property, it needs to match reality and not that what we think it is, right? And guys, if you don't have it, use the sheet, download it, and get out of there and make just better offers. And I think that was pretty much everything I wanted to share and say today, and give a little bit of context, right? And yeah, if you have any questions, I open it up for a quick Q&A, and then we're going to close it out early at 5:45 today.
Did you by chance have any time to look at those CFP sheets?
No, but I will have tomorrow. I
Okay.
didn't have time today during the day now, like they said, super
Nope,
packed. But I will have time tomorrow.
no problem.
That I can do that. I have that email highlighted in my inbox, Glenn.
Okay, thanks.
You're the highlight of my day.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
This guy's
Oh
Oh,
boy.
it's fun to be the highlight of his day. Let me just tell you from this morning. So, hey,
Oh, this is what it is.
I'm teasing you.
But by the way, you sent me 4 links, which were, are this a spreadsheet themselves? Because I couldn't open that. This is what I wanted to let you know too.
You couldn't open the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Oh, can you mean to resend it the same email I sent the other day?
Yeah, I can just do that. If you don't have it start in your inbox, like you're one step behind, Glenn. Like you are a star in my inbox, right? Here we go. The best thing is, do you have them in a Google Drive?
No, no.
Because
No.
what you forwarded me is a link to your email, and I can't log into your email account. You just copy pasted probably the email thing.
Yeah.
So what I need is the files themselves and the CSV files. So what I do right now is I'm gonna do this.
Oh, I think they
Glenn,
were. They are in Google Drive, and I copied the link out of there. I think it was. I had to go back and look see what I did.
yeah. So what I do right now is I'm gonna send you an email with a folder, right?
Okay.
And then you can just upload the CSV files here. That's probably the fastest and best way of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yep. Good deal.
Glenn,
Yep. I got it right there.
Sir, can I
okay.
stop the stream?
You can stop the stream. Everybody else, next Tuesday, by the way, Ross Hamilton. If you haven't signed up, you want to be there. That guy is like an absolute machine. He made like one of the biggest exits in real estate. He will share his journey from being a land investor to make really he can't tell how many figures it were, but it were a lot. I know it. He founded Connected Investors, and he will talk about his journey, how he got there, and like all the hiccups he had and his thinking models. He will provide a lot of value. Also, he will talk about the charity he's running today. So, and he had like an insane like nice thing he built together there. So you want to be there next Tuesday, the 28th at 6 p.m. CST. We can drop the link under this video too. And if you want to run your land business on autopilot, guys, the place we opened another 8 slots, right? That's what it is. And Gene, it's a done for you, but not a done without you service,
I
right?
know.
So
I want
this is
the
what
part
it
that I
is.
don't have to do. Can find it
This
for me
is what
though.
it is. With that said, thank you so much.
It exists.
Over here, like, well, we can be here, but like this is what it really is. We just stopped the live stream on Instagram and Facebook and whatever.